Hello, my name is Tumin Bowie, and today I will be presenting my research on the time spent watching TV versus enrollment in school. To begin, I wanted to study this topic because television consumption and its effects on viewers have been extensively studied over the past few decades. Importantly, once these initial findings have been established, other researchers can more confidently develop further studies that can then assess television consumption's effects on academic engagement. I hypothesize that there is no difference between the time spent watching TV for those enrolled in schools versus those not enrolled in schools. As background, this study combines information from the Ad Health study. Participants were initially selected for the Ad Health study using stratified sampling of all U.S. high schools that had at least 30 students enrolled and in 11th grade. Questionnaires were administered to randomly selected students. In Wave 1, Stage 2, a subset of these students were selected for follow-up in-home questionnaires. This makes it a longitudinal study. The culmination of the data was acquired through in-school surveys, home interviews, and follow-up surveys of original participants and additionally their immediate network. Ad Health combines additional information from existing databases for supplementary data regarding income, unemployment, health services, community programs, etc. In order to test my hypothesis, I created a comparative histogram between both of my variables. My independent variables, enrollment in school, whether they be not enrolled in school or enrolled in school, and I graph that against my dependent variable, hours spent watching TV. As you can see in the first figure, there is not a strong difference between the density of hours spent watching TV. This is also displayed in the second diagram as a comparative box plot. This diagram allows us to compare the overall spread and number of outliers. It is also visible that the means and medians of both groups are very similar. However, the enrolled in school group has more outliers. To be specific, the enrolled group watched an average of 16.21 hours per week with a standard deviation of 15.18 hours. Meanwhile, the not enrolled group watched an average of 17.69 hours with a standard deviation of 19.84 hours. A two-sample t-test was used to compare the means between the two independent groups to determine if there is statistically significant difference between them. The t-critical value for the test was 0.8261, with degrees of freedom equal to 125.83. The test had a p-value of 0.4103. The 95% confidence interval ranged between negative 2.0658 and 5.02633. The t-test indicated that these differences were not statistically significant, with p equal to 0.2854, which is greater than the alpha value of 0.05. Therefore, there is no difference between the time spent watching TV for those enrolled in schools versus those not enrolled in school. The null hypothesis cannot be rejected. Future investigation could benefit from more balanced sample sizes to more accurately determine the relationship between school enrollment and television viewing time. Additionally, later studies could explore other factors such as the type of TV content, the presence of parental supervision, and other demographic characteristics that could influence TV viewing. Thank you for listening to my presentation.